Um, I have been in my moving around St. Lucie. I've been taking pictures, and I'm taking pictures of the water meter uh, as I pass us here. So why am I doing this? Now you have from your water meter, you have this blue distribution line coming in. You have the blue distribution line coming into your water meter. Now, presumably, the blue distribution line will be will not be contaminated with the water that comes in, right? So let's assume that the blue distribution line, when it comes to your water meter, it comes with clean, healthy, drinkable, portable water.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now, so that water is attached to the water meter, which belongs to the Barbados Water Authority. That distribution line is attached to the water meter, which belongs to the water authority. Exiting the water meter is your plastic pipe, right?
Yeah.
So we have the blue distribution line coming to the water meter,
Yeah.
and the plastic pipe is for the water exiting the water meter.
Mm-hmm.
So listen carefully. And I've taken several pictures of this. If you're going to look at those, if you're going to look at the water meter, it has galvanized pipe fittings taking water from the distribution line and exiting to your plastic conduit. So if the water comes from the distribution line into the water meter, but the water meter is rusty, even if the water was coming, excuse me, even if the water was coming to your water meter clean, when it hits the water meter, it goes into rusty galvanized pipe. So you still can't get clean water. And as often as I say that, I have not heard anybody from any authority come and say,
Right.
we will test it. So that's what they have to do. They have to come and test the water that comes to the water meter, and then test the water leaves the water meter to see what contamination is happening after it leaves the water meter.
Yes.
I've made this recommendation to several times to several people related to this water distribution and management, and I have not heard anybody say we're going to do this.
Yeah.
So that's a problem, right? So I'm telling you, I have taken several photographs. I got them on my phone showing that fixture around the water meter is rusty, very bad. Some of them really ugly. So I said I was going to do that. So a third thing though, here's my concern. Now, mains have been replaced. Both the distribution and the main have been replaced in some areas in St. Lucie. But I have not heard, and I've checked this with a number of people, I have not heard a single person say that although the mains in their area have been replaced, that they're getting clean water. Why not? I would think that if you have replaced 10 feet of pipe with clean water, you will come and say, okay, we'll replace 10 feet of pipe with clean water, and the people who are attached to it are getting clean water. Not a single word on that matter.
Mm-hmm.
Not a single person, either from the political directorate or the Barbados Water, have come and said they have changed its means, and this group of people in this area are getting clean water.
Right.
That's what we want to hear.
Yes.
But we have not heard. I have not heard it. Maybe it has been said. So I speak subject correction here.
But the people, there's a gentleman on the road, and he was saying his water. I think he signaled to either Mr. Strickland or to Mr. Baker that his water is still muddy.
Okay,
But let me go. I wrote down the three things the three areas that you're most concerned about, and I think that these are very serious concerns, and I want the others from St. Lucie to think about on the three areas. One was about the difference between what the politician is saying the MP for the area is saying versus what BW is saying in terms of the length of time to fix the issue in terms of the pipes. That is
Uh-huh.
okay. So that is one, and then you spoke about having the pictures, of the rust and where you believe the issue might be that you would want to be able to show them, and all of you have all of these three areas, and I believe if I heard Mr. Baker well today, right? If I heard Mr. Baker well today, these are some of the questions that you want to pose to BWA when you have your town hall. Before I get
Absolutely.
to Ms. Shakwani Hunt, I want to hear from you, Mr. Baker, because you kept telling the people of St. Lucie that we want to have this town hall meeting with with the BWA. Would it be some of these important questions that Mr. Carter is raising that you would want to ask the BWA?
Yes, of course. Um, it is really, really frustrating, and he who feels it knows it. Yeah. For the people of St. Lucie to be going through this thing over and over with no relief, and this is why I believe that someone should come and sit down and talk with us. Let us vent. Let us say what is happening to us. Because when you get up one morning, you turn on your crystal clear water, you're okay. When I was going to school, water had no color, it had no smell, and it had no taste. But that's because the people didn't come to St. Lucie. Because the water that we put got color, got smell, and it has taste. We can't do this. We cannot continue to do this. And what is really, really hurtful, you will find that one or two people that water is not that bad, whether politically affiliated, they start saying, man, the water clean. I getting clean water. I am happy for you if you're getting clean water.
Hmm.
I ain't getting clean water. I am certain if I ain't getting clean water, I know for sure Caroline can't be getting clean water because it's get to me before it get to she. So no, on this is a serious thing. This is a serious thing. And for some reason, people believe that we don't have the right to say what we think. We don't have the right to ask the questions, you know. And what is also hurtful, then even civil looks, okay, fellas, let us sit down, let us make a date. And man, I don't care if they hold the town hall on a tamarind tree, on a dunk tree, even on a martingale tree. Come and say something to the people. The people of St. Lucie are not stupid. Don't get the impression because we don't jump up and down every day that we can't jump up and down. We had enough, honestly. And I
Yeah.
just want to say one last time to Shakwani and your team, thanks again. It was a pleasure to have you. And I'm so happy to see that others from all over the island came out. Today is our day. Be hoping that tomorrow it don't be yours. It might not be water, but it might be something else. And this is not a St. Lucie issue per se. This is a Barbados issue. And the sooner that we can get this in the back of people's heads and get some things happening, the better it is. I thank you.
Yes. I heard the passion in your voice today. I tell you, nobody had to say to you what to say. Both you and Mr. Strickland, you could say, you could tell, you could speak to the people because it is your life. It is your story. There's nobody forcing anything on you. There was not a politician on that truck. No politician touched the mic. Even though you guys were open, if Mr. Thorne was there out of respect for him, you would say, Mr. Thorne could speak, but Mr. Thorne was there. He didn't even, present himself to speak. It was so refreshing to hear the citizens speaking, and I'm gonna go to Mr. Husband. Mr. Husband, how important as a citizen of St. Lucie, how important is it that this town hall meeting with the BWA happens? How important is it, sir, Mr. Husbands?
Well, it is extremely important for the people of St. Lucie because, as the three previous speakers said, collectively, um, we need to have that meeting because there are a number of issues that needs to be addressed by the Barbados Water Authority.
Mm,
Let me say this, and I am going to reiterate it as much as I can.
yes.
This is not this drive that we have here with respect to this water has nothing to do with politics. Absolutely nothing to do with politics. There are people who want to align this movement with politics. We are not political in this fight. We just want what we deserve, and that is clean, clear water. Having said that, in response to, I don't remember the gentleman's name there that spoke eloquently about the water just now.
Mr. Carter.
Right, Mr. Carter. You know, water trucks are in St. Lucie every day distributing water. You know,
Mhm.
those trucks don't fill up in St. Lucie. So, to your argument with respect to the new pipes, they put down new pipes and still brown water flowing through those new pipes. They go to hydrants outside of St. Lucie, get water, and then come to St. Lucie. And I am saying something is fundamentally wrong. The reason for wanting the town hall meeting, and like Mr. Strickland and Mr. Baker said on the truck today, if politicians want to come from wherever, BD, NDP, whoever, they are free to come. But we don't want to hear from politicians in respect of this. We want to hear from the technocrats, the engineers at Barbados Water Authority to answer the technical questions that we have to pose with respect to this water. We want to know things like why would, at this late stage, the Ministry of Health telling you to boil water? There has to be a reason why they tell us to boil water. And the point came out earlier about the time for the boiling water. How long do you boil it for? What are they telling us? Why are they telling us to boil water? Is it for reasons of bacteria? Is it for whatever? So there are a lot of technical questions that have to be asked. There are answers that we need from the Barbados Water Authority, and we do not want no politician coming to try to put um, their political spin in favor of the present administration to fool us, because we will not be fooled when it comes to this issue. We want to hear from the technocrats so that they can tell us exactly what the issues are. It is interesting that we are in this fight today. And while assembling at the St. Lucie Parish Church before the motorcade went off, I saw the MP for St. Lucie passing.
Mhm.
He was up and down and taking photographs and all of that. I don't know if those photographs are going to improve the water quality in St. Lucie. If they taking those photographs today are going to improve the quality of water, I applaud him.
What was he
For
taking photograph of the motorcade?
yes.
Hmm.
So um so I don't know Right, and even this afternoon, just before when the motorcade was somewhere in the between Mountgay Churchill area coming down, he passed again, and somebody told me that he passed there maybe 2 or 3 times, and was just driving around. He could have simply come. We would have welcomed him and let him come and help show some of the water that was shared out today.
Correct.
But I am not pleased at his statements to the people of St. Lucie. I didn't expect him to come and say that something can happen magically, but be sympathetic. Come and tell the people of St. Lucie, look, we have a serious issue with the water. Let Water Authority tell us what the issues are and come up with a solution so that we know where we stand. Instead of grandstanding on brass tacks or whatever it was, talking about it is irresponsible for people to not pay their water bills. I think the irresponsible act is for he, and by extension the government, not coming to the people in St. Lucie and telling us exactly what is what. And certainly, let me say this, any town hall meeting that we have, do not expect the people in St. Lucie dealing with this water issue that we are going to submit questions before the town hall meeting start for people to vet questions. We're not going to be subjected to that. Our sole aim is water and proper water for St. Lucie. And the questions that we have to ask with respect to that has nothing to do with politics. It has to do with, one, the MP saying that it would take 2 years. 2, the engineers at Barbados Water Authority saying something different, 5 to 10 years, as stated by Mr. Carter. And the other sets of stories that we are hearing that do not add up. Those questions are the questions that we have to ask the technical people at Barbados Water Authority as it relates to the water in St. Lucie. So we will not be going down no political line. We will no political questions. The questions will be about water for the people of St. Lucie. That's it. You're muted, Marcia. You're muted.
Yes, I was saying, no, this is a serious team of people that I've been working with for the last couple of weeks. And I will say this is the first initiative that I can tell you that I did not have to put up my name to the police, to get a permit. They were on the ball. They were working. There's a strong team of people. And this next step, not my initiative. And I'm happy about that, Ms. McLean. It means that the citizens themselves are rising up. I heard Mr. Strickland, who I hope he can join us and give us the final word tonight. Mr. Strickland kept saying, or is it, I can't remember, Mr. Baker, keeps saying, we have value. The people in St. Lucie, we have value. We understand our value. And that was so heartening to hear. Now, we have Shaquani Hunt, a young woman that, been working relentlessly for St. Lucie. Shaquani, you were there today. You saw that so many people needed more water, right? You've done such an amazing job. Shaquani, I want to commend you and the Young Dems. There was water given not just from the Young Dems, but from Praise Academy School, as well as the loyal opposition. People brought water to Caswell that were not from the Dems. So the water came from all over Barbados.
Marcia, the water was from everywhere.
Mm.
everywhere. All types of people. They saw my number on the form. I mean, on the flyer. They called me. They told me, "I have donations for you. Can you send somebody to collect?" And I made arrangements for somebody to collect. I must say, I didn't get to collect all the water, but what we will do as the weeks go on, we will still continue to collect and keep there. What I will say, it is not enough. It is not enough because we're getting no assistance from the government, and they can do more. Yes, they can't fix the water issue immediately, but they can help with some relief where they can also buy some cases of water to donate to the community. It is not enough that they're not doing anything. The truck is one step. That is just one step to the problem. They could lend more assistance to the community. The same way how we're purchasing water, we're rallying around people, we're asking for donations. They could do that if they don't have the funds. It is not impossible. It is not rocket science. It's very simple. They did it before when they had the water issue in St. John. I remember they did a campaign as well, and they also distributed water. I remember when in that time period we sent water overseas as well. And I said, how can we send water overseas when so many people here in Barbados and St. John don't have water? So if they could have done it back then, they can do it again. It is not very difficult to do a water drive campaign. The first step is recognizing that you need it and just start asking people for donations, either water, cases of water, or even the gallon bottles that they can fill up. Because as you can see, a lot of people came up with their containers. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know if you realize when we were passing, people came up with empty containers and held
Oh
them
my
up.
God.
So they were showing you that there was no water, and it hurts your heart because we don't have enough. We don't have enough, and we can't give a household 5 cases. We're just trying to assist as much as we can with taking on some of the burden. But I will say it's extremely difficult because when you get into an area and you have no more water, we're just looking at them with blank faces, just telling them we will try to assist you next time.
Mhm, mhm. So
So
your
I
next
think
time,
the
your next time is going to, is it, oh, the next time that you're going to do this will be when? Because I know
what we
some
would
people from
do.
St. Lucie might be listening, especially those that were so disappointed. What do you think? What's the time frame you think,
What
Shakwani?
we will do, we will communicate with the team from St. Lucie, but I do recommend we do it every 2 weeks to give people time to save up money. Even though we're not asking for a large number of donations, we still understand that currently the climate in Barbados is very hard and people don't have a lot to give. But what I suggested to people, even $5 can assist because the empty gallon bottles, I think we purchased those for like between one something for $3, and those could be filled up as well, and they can also keep the bottles.
Mm-hmm.
So every little bit counts, and don't feel like your money or the water that you're donated isn't good enough. We're not going to judge you because when we get out there, it doesn't matter to them. They're so thankful. They're looking for more. We don't have any more to give.
Yes, they are. I saw this. I was walking in my development, and someone said to me, turned and said, I think he said, "Are you Marcia?" Or I don't remember what happened, but he says, "I hear your voice and I listen to the show." And I said to him, "Are you coming to St. Lucie?" He says, "I can't come." I said, "Well, give me some water." And this morning I was able to go. He didn't buy the water, but he gave me $50, and we were able to stop and buy some water. And so
Mm-hmm.
I'm agreeing with you. Every little bit counts, and so
It
you're
counts.
gonna they will keep hearing us, Shakwani, on the show asking for water. And so in the next 2 weeks or so,
Yeah.
you're going to be back out there again, and we will be able to probably say the areas that we're going to. Would that
Yes.
be it?
Well, yes. What we can do is that we can communicate with the St. Lucie team that they didn't motorcade because they know who is most impacted, and maybe schedule it based on where the water truck didn't go at that time because they know the water truck is on a schedule, and some people go 2 and 3 days without getting a truck.
I
So,
just want to say one thing quick before you go.
of course.
I want people to also understand that there are elderly people that can't get to the tank.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
And those people depend on when they turn on the pipe to get clean water. So you've got situations where you've got two elderly people in the house, and it is because of the kind of loving nature that we still have in St. Lucie, that some person younger would go and get water for those people. But
Yes.
you're asking them people to pay a water bill.
Well,
That
per
can't.
se, I don't know if you realize, but a lot of the water tanks are up a hill. I don't know why, but a lot of them you always have to end up walking up the hill.
Mm-hmm.
And walking up the hill is easy when the containers are empty. But think about when you gotta travel back down, the weight of it sometimes is difficult. Like Mark said, I know of many times we went into the area where older people can't even lift the cases inside. We sometimes have to go in the houses and actually put them in an area where they can easily access them. So people in the community they will say, well, this person doesn't walk, they can't lift something, put it closer to the door, or they may call the person and sometimes we may put it through the window to be more accommodating. Because he's saying older people, but we encounter pregnant people who couldn't lift anything, having only small children in the household, and we had to take cases on the inside for her. We even encountered a time period where we shared out water, and a grandmother was had a small container of water wiping down a child because the child had a fever and they didn't have any water.
Wow.
It was she was so grateful, and it was so heartbreaking when you saw that tiny child being damped down and thinking about it like we don't have to worry about this because we have water home. So the water that she got from the truck, she was trying to save it in a way where that she would have enough water because the child had a fever for more than one day. And she was like, how we would do normally we would take the child in the shower and stay in the shower with them, but because now the water is brown, they're not showering the same way. She had a small container with a towel just wetting her down. And we never even consider people that may be sick who can't use that unclean water, who would need access to fresh water, and how it would impact their livelihood or their lifestyle. But that is something that is really impacting people as well.
Yes.
I think they need to put themselves in their shoes. Imagine you go to parliament and the water in the jug is brown. What will you do? Will you ask them if they boil it first, or will you drink without question? So if you wouldn't do it for yourself, why would you ask the members of society to do the same thing when you're not even attempting to do it? We've never seen the MP from St. Lucie drinking brown water. Because if he was drinking and cooking and bathing and washing his clothes with it, I think the people in the community might be a little bit on this more understanding because they will say, man, he's feeling the burden, he's trying. Maybe we can try this a little bit harder. But you're not being impacted by it or not feeling it. And then you're telling them, oh, you could do this. How? It is not the same. So if you're not living at the same standard, why are you expecting them to do that and then telling them that, oh, they're being too complacent or implying that they should continue to pay for service that they don't get? I think he's been a little bit unreasonable.
Yes. Thank you so much. Very well said, Shakwani, and painting a different picture. It's so interesting. You hear the women, how the women speak about it, versus how the men speak about it. And I know it's 10 o'clock. We're gonna go another 5 minutes extra tonight because this is very very important. I know Mr. Strickland. I really wanted him to come in. I don't have my microphone and all of that set up because we were rushing to get here. Um, my the telephone set up, but his devices, Mr. Strickland, if you're listening, your devices are not connected. Okay, so I have removed Mr. Murray from the studio because we had too many people in the studio. And so that Mr. Strickland, oh, his devices are on. Wonderful. Let me just let him come in here and have the final say. Hi, good night, Mr. Strickland.
Good night, to those on the panel. Um, I I guess I've never been more proud of being a resident of St. Lucie till this afternoon. Unfortunately, I could not continue in that I had a church meeting at 5:30. Um, to hear that the representative, sorry, was up and down St. Lucie this evening, I think is one of the worst things that I could have heard. Honest
Mm,
truth, because um, you're almost trying to spy on us. You're spying on us as individuals. This is not just about residents in St. Lucie doing what is their constitutional right. You are spying on me. And as much as I would have indicated this evening that we are demanding a town hall meeting with the Barbados Water Authority, our next step and my next suggestion for step will be a press conference. Because even though we may not have a certain amount of confidence in some of the media houses in St. Lucie, in Barbados, this is going to put the media houses in Barbados on the spot. This may very well prove once and for all how political, how gutless some of the media houses in Barbados are. Because the Barbados Water Authority is a government agency. It's not a political organization, it's a government agency. And I believe that for all citizens of Barbados, every government agency has a responsibility to act. I spent almost 40 years of my life working in a government agency, and we served irrespective of color, class, political affiliation. So therefore, Marcy, and for those on the on this show tonight, I am really appreciative of all of those who came out, especially Mark, who spoke on the truck, and those that were in the motorcade. Our hats go off to the Barbados Police Service for their support in what we did this evening. And I don't know if they've ever happened, I'm not certain, but because this motorcade took in the entire of St. Lucie, and we are talking about maybe the third or fourth largest parish in Barbados, this was a tremendous undertaking by the residents of St. Lucie without any political overtones, without any political involvement, and we are capable of going forward with the support of the residents of St. Lucie to make sure we get what is justly ours. So thanks, Marcia, and for all of those who came out this evening, and God continue to bless St. Lucie.
Wow. Very, very, very well said. Very well said. And I know I said you have the last word, but I saw Miss McLean there. I know she's seething. And so I want to, Miss McLean, are you stuck? You're still there.
Marcia, before Miss McLean goes,
Yes, Caroline.
Before Miss McLean goes, I would like to say this, because in Barbados, we hear a lot of people being fearful. And I want to declare and decree that there shall be no retaliation, no victimization, no intimidation, or no false accusations against this team in St. Lucie, because we are standing for our right, and we call on a righteous God to hear our cause. Thank you.
Wow, powerful. Thank you, Caroline. I love this team. Listen, they're fiery. They are fiery. Miss McLean, is she still there? Okay, I think she's gone. But let me see if I can get Mr. Murray in quickly. Mr. Murray, open your microphone. Both of them having trouble. Oops. Okay, try again, Mr. Murray. Yes, go right ahead.
That's it. Yeah, I just want to say that there's some things you heard said in history that stick with you. In the French Revolution of 1789, Marie Antoinette, when told that the people were hungry, he said, "Mans la merde, let them eat cake, but surely let them eat feces." Right? That kind of indifference, cold hardness, lack of empathy comes through with this water situation in St. Lucie. I'm completely befuddled that a so-called responsible government and organization or MP could take this almost hands-off, nonchalant attitude towards the situation. This is an emergency, should be treated as such. And to tell people boil the water or to be told to them, it's almost as bad as very carry as it is systematic of the government. When people complain that the price of gasoline was too high, as it still is, he said, drive less. It's the same attitude, indifferent, uncaring, unsympathetic being demonstrated towards people in St. Louis. And I'm really personally disappointed in Peter Phillips, whom I used to have a lot of regard for. He was a very active community man for years. I think that is what helped him to win the seat. But no, there's a totally different person. But apart from that, I think that you have to do, it's hard to a press conference, but I think you have to do something dramatic to capture the attention of the public and the government and the BWA. I will speak to
Yes,
Marcy about that for you. I have an idea.
yes,
All
yes.
right?
Thank you.
Right. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Murray.
And
I see.
keep the fight up. Don't
Yes,
back off
sir.
me. Don't back off with the cybercrime, etc. And you should not back off with it because we are all with you.
Excellent. And he's only 18 years old. All right. Okay. Let's have Miss McLean. And she's about 17. But go ahead. Let's hear from her and give us your final word.
You said that I'm about 70. That's all right. No problem. That's not like
17.
but no, but it's closer to 70. Don't worry. No, but I quickly want to reinforce something that Mr. Husband said, because I think it is important that we hear from the people who run the water authority, the engineers, whoever, because they know what the problems are. On this program, we've heard several possible explanations. And clearly, when we start to add up 2 and 2, for example, the point that was made that trucks don't fill up in St. Lucie. If the water was okay at the reservoir, at the source, and it was the pipes, then you go to the source and bring it in the trucks. If they're not doing that, there's a reason why. And so they need to hear and say, look, this is the problem. We have to make some drastic changes and explain what has to happen. And I think from listening to all that we've had over the last several weeks and talking to different professionals, as far as I am concerned, part of what they may have to do is to put a halt to the sources and find a way of rerouting water, because it is not only rusty pipes. I mean, from what you're hearing, if it were that the case, you would say, okay, we can't push the water through at point A to point B. We have to go from C, from A to C or A to D or whatever. So I think that call on the people to come clean and no pun intended, come and tell people exactly what the problems are, how difficult it may be to resolve the problems, but what has to be done. And my word to I was going to leave the partisan politics alone, but Mr. Phillips, the whole attitude of keeping files on people is totally inappropriate in this instance. That is what that is about. Taking photographs to see who are the people present. I've been around Marcy, not 17, but close to 70 years. And I know how people behave sometimes when they want to be partisan political. And I choose my words, partisan political, being, because these are political issues, because they're all part of government decisions and whatever, and impacting people. But that nonsense, not solving the problem, but running around, and I'm going to use another P word, pimping behind people, is nonsense. Go and help deliver water.
They were taking my picture. I know they took my picture, Mr. Husbands and everybody. I was right there on the truck, and I look quite cute. So you can go and show them my picture. You want this side? What side you want? What do you want to do? But take my picture. Oh yeah, take my picture. I love it. but let me just say, listen, we're not afraid of none of that. You could take picture till the camera mash up. We will have as many motorcades and we will stand up and we will pause for you. You understand me? St. Lucie, we're not backing down. Tell them to come and take the pictures and we will pause. Okay? Because we're not afraid and we're not frightened. All right? So we want to thank all the members of the loyal opposition. Those of you who came out, those of you who sent money, those who brought food to share with others. People brought food and shared with me and with others that you knew that they didn't get a chance to cook. Thank you all to every single one of you. We are a family and they're not going to break that. They're not going to change that. They come for one. They come for the people in St. Lucie. They're taking their picture. They're going to take all of our pictures because we're just cute like that, right? It's all of us involved. So I want to thank you all. I want to thank Miss McLean, who I called on the way, said, Miss McLean, jump on for me and start the program. And she was willing. Thank you so much. And Dr. Ferdinand, I know if we called him first, but he was sleeping. If he was up, he would have jumped on as well. But thanks to everybody. Dave, thank you so much for being Dave is such an encouragement and wanted to get me here on time. For the driver, Adrian, who drove, but he didn't break any laws. He made sure I got home to St. Philip on time. Thanks to every single one of you for your support and your encouragement and love to the people of St. Lucie. God bless you all, and you're going to hear more from us because them not afraid and them not frightened. Yeah? When we lose our fear, they lose their power. All right. Wonderful. Thank you all so very much. God bless you. And over to Dave. I know he has something to play for us. Over to
Good
him.
night.
Oh, he's not in. Okay, no music tonight. If you check the chat, St. Lucie, before you go, check the private chat. Mr. John Knox stayed on tonight so he could give you some notes. So look in the chat and read, and you can even take pictures of it and see if there are any ideas in there. Mr. Knox is a good person to have around. He is one of those professionals that's sticking his neck out. Okay, so go ahead and read what he's saying there. Okay, God bless you all. Love you all. Bye-bye. Way to go, St. Lucie. That's it. Keep the fire under the tail.